Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Yes, you are weak. And what's wrong with that? We are at the Academy. We joined this place to become stronger. Being weak just means you can only climb higher from your current position. And stop misunderstanding us. We aren't protecting you because you are weak, but because you are our friend. Neo's sharp words surprised Felix. Felix planned to have them make her forcefully stay in their teams to protect her. She thought Arthur would stop her, not Neo. Maybe he was more compassionate than she thought. Just stay in Arthur's team. I'm the main target of the Zeus clan members. It's safer for you if you are with Arthur. Stop refusing. It's annoying. Why, yeah. No, you aren't annoying. Anyway, Felix joined my team. I'm not teaming up with Neo because I want to be the ruler. I have no grudge against him, and we aren't fighting. Felix's expression contorted as if she had to make a difficult decision. Got them good, she thought internally. After a long time, Felix sighed. Okay. Arthur was relieved after hearing her answer. Neo, on the other hand, didn't know if he should laugh or cry. There was no way he would hold a grudge, because Felix chose to team with Arthur. Her actions were the creation of her needless overcaution. The trio chatted. Felix and Arthur left after a bit of time passed to find teammates. I'm alone now. Neo's time was running out. He had to train quickly and reach sufficient mastery in water element before he entered Underworld tomorrow. However, he couldn't leave the mission hall. The top 100 students would form teams today itself. If he delayed searching for team members, he would not be able to take on S-rank missions. Who will be willing to join my team? Neo thought. He looked around and realized, am I overthinking it, or is everyone trying to stay away from me? The students kept away from Neo. They turned away when he made eye contact with them. It was going to be hard to find teammates. I guess I'll go to people I know and try my luck with them. Neo looked around for Morgan. It was easy to locate her. She was being ostracized like him. Looks like your friends didn't like you lost to me. Neo approached her. She noticed his presence and frowned. What do you want? I want you on my team. It's not like you have a choice if you want to take on S-rank missions. The Zeus clan members won't let other students join you. Morgan pursed her lips. After she fell out of favor with her family, the attitude of the Zeus clan students took a turn. They were trying to put her down. Neo's offer was a godsend. There was just one problem. I don't want to join the team of someone weaker than me. Besides, I don't care about credits or ranks. She turned around and left. Neo was left stunned. What the fuck is wrong with her? Why is she so different from the Morgan of the novel? Massaging his temples, he was about to look for other teammates until he noticed Leonora. She stood in a secluded corner of the mission hall. Her face was hidden under the hoodie. She was playing a game on the Switch and used earphones to drown the noise of the mission hall. Should I try it? The chances of making a team with her are low, but if I play my card right, I should be able to do it. He was about to meet her when a boy, buffed and giant, with dark blue hair, stopped him. Where do you think you are going? The boy Christian questioned. Go away. Even if you're a ruler, there are some things you shouldn't do. Christian continued. Miss is the leader of the Poseidon clan's faction. You are insulting us if you try to recruit her. Zeus clan was already an enemy with Neo. If Poseidon clan joined the fray, he would be facing two great god clans alone. But when did he care about such things? Neo was about to forcefully remove Christian from his path when suddenly he heard a voice. Sitch Christian, let him come here. Leonora, the girl who disliked any and every person, was looking straight at Neo. 5 minutes ago. This sucks. Leonora wore the earphones and took out the Switch from her pocket. She started the game after she leaned against the wall. Ugh, why do I have to attend classes? I wish I could stay in my room all day. Leonora saw students moving around to find teammates. She clicked her tongue. The top 100 students were almost all from god clans. Their families decided their teammates before they entered the academy. Noisy. She increased the volume and focused on the game. Suddenly, a flying whale, otherworldly in appearance, came out of the wall and covered half of the mission hall's roof. Nobody could see or sense the whale. Leonora, shouldn't you try to talk to others now that you are outside? The whale's voice, sweet and lyrical, sounded inside Leonora's head. I don't want to. All of them look like idiots, Leonora answered. The whale Ruby sighed. She worried Leonora's introverted nature was taking a turn for worse with each day. She was about to reprimand her lightly when suddenly she stopped. Her gaze focused on the black-haired, red-eyed boy. Ruby flew down and circled Neo. "What are you doing?" Leonora questioned. "I'm trying to find out if he can see me. He made eye contact with me during the entrance ceremony. That must have been a coincidence. Stop worrying about it and go rest." "Hayes, you've really become not so sweet anymore, Leonora." "Really? That's a good thing if it stops others from approaching me." Ruby continued to monitor Neo. When he was rejected by Morgan and tried to approach Leonora, she spoke. "Join his team. We need to keep an eye on him." "No, it sounds like work, and Dad will throw a fit if I join a team other than with my clanmates." Leonora did not even bother to ask for reason behind Ruby's suggestion. Her laziness exasperated Ruby. "You will regret it if you let the boy move on his own." Ruby explained in simpler words. Mastery over elements was done by experiencing the element and getting as close to them as possible. Death element was the same. Neo's high mastery over it signified he killed thousands, if not tens of thousands, of people. His murders were probably being hidden by his brother. Letting someone as dangerous as Neo roam unsupervised was asking for a disaster to occur. That's what you were worried about. I don't need to monitor him. The principal and teachers probably are keeping an eye on him at all times. Hayes, is this the naivety of childhood or the complacent of strong? The spirit's sighs irked Leonora. Ruby spoke before Leonora could complain. "You of all people should no one can bend the rules. It's easy for that boy to harm others without breaking rules. Moreover, his brother is not to be trifled with. The boy is moving around as if nothing happened, even after the commotion in the country of mermaids. If he wants, he can act as he wished in the academy, too." Leonora doubted Neo could do anything on the academy ground. However, Ruby's words planted the seed of doubt in her heart. What if Neo's brother could really save him from consequences? Wouldn't it mean he would go berserk in the academy whenever he felt like it? "Oh, it feels like trouble is soon to arrive." Leonora spoke as if the matter had nothing to do with her. "Leonora, the boy antagonized the Lightning Clan already. There is no guarantee he will not target your clan next. If he starts a storm, the responsibility to deal with the aftermath will fall over you." Leonora stiffened. As the de facto leader of Poseidon Clan Circle, all problems inside the academy were to be solved by her. She didn't like work and ignored everything. But if Neo was actually a mass murderer and he aimed for her clanmates, she would have no choice but to intervene. Her hands trembled at the thought of soon-to-arrive workload. "And no, what should I do? I don't want to work." "Join his team. If you keep an eye on him at all times, you can stop him before he does anything." Leonora thought about it. Ruby's words made sense. However, unbeknown to her, Ruby's words were a lie to trick her. Her intentions were to stick close to Neo, so, as to his sword, what is it? It's a spirit, but not a spirit at the same time. I need to find out and eliminate them both if it's something dangerous. "CH Christian, let him come here." Hearing her words, Christian frowned. He let Neo pass. But Neo didn't move. "What was that?" "I definitely sensed bloodlust aimed at me." Neo scanned the area with his senses. He couldn't find the source of the bloodlust. Suddenly, a voice appeared inside his head. "Spirit, aiming. For us. Both dangerous." Obida's presence became strong when it spoke. However, it returned to sleep soon after. The few words were enough for Neo to know Ruby, Leonora's spirit, was the source of the bloodlust. Spirits were born from the elemental seeds. They were autonomous beings and could support their masters in day-to-day life as well as combat. The only weakness of a spirit was it could not stray too far from its master. What is it? Why did USD stop?" Neo didn't know why Ruby's bloodlust leaked. There was a chance she wanted to kill him. Why? He didn't know. Was it okay to recruit Leonora if it meant being in close proximity to Ruby? Neo weighed both options before he made the decision. "I think it should be clear, but I'll say it for the sake of it." He approached her. "I want to recruit you." "Okay." He felt a bit surprised at her quick answer. It confirmed his suspicions. Ruby must have advised Leonora to team up with me. It feels like that spirit is up to no good. Wait, miss. You can't do that. Christian reacted. The patriarch would kill me if you go against patriarch's words again. Please just team up with us. Noisy. Shut up. Christian closed his mouth when she stared at him in the eye. Stuck between a hard place and a rock, he really wanted to cry. Neo looked at him with a sympathetic gaze. Poor guy. It's not like he can force Leonora, since he is weaker than her. After receiving the confirmation, Neo sent the team form to Leonora. She had to sign it with her name. The verification process would take a day. She would officially become his teammate after that. Right, give me a number 2. WHY. She looked at him suspiciously. I need to contact you for missions. Why else would I want your number? Oh. She was about to give him her number when she remembered something. I have a condition if you want me to join your team. I won't do any W work. You need to handle everything yourself. Neo more or less expected it from her. Her original plan was to join the Poseidon clan members' team and let them do all the work. He nodded. I'm fine with it. I just want her name for S-rank missions. You can join them if you want or not. Wait, let me join your team too. Christian interrupted. He looked at Neo with a desperate gaze. The patriarch will behead me if he found out I let Miss join your team. I might be able to survive if I tell him I joined the team with Miss, and I will protect her on the missions. Don't worry. I will do all my duties as a team member. I'm ranked 25, and I'm pretty strong. Please, let me be your teammate. It was weird to see someone with a big body like Christian almost on the verge of tears. Besides, Christian's actual strength was in top 10. He took 25th rank, as Leonora originally planned to take 24th rank, and he couldn't rank higher than the leader of his circle. Neo sent the team form to Christian. He filled it immediately and shook Neo's hand. Thanks you. You just saved my neck. It's no problem. I'm happy to have a strong teammate. While Christian didn't show it, Neo's amicable attitude surprised him. He thought Neo would be a stuck-up kid who was drunk on his strength. His personality will take him far. I guess it's a good choice to let Miss join his team. Sigh. It's not like Miss will listen to me if I tell her not team up with him. Neo's team became qualified for S-rank mission. Now he just had to wait for the team form to be verified. We still have 2 spots left. Should I bring some people from my clan to join us? Christian asked. Neo shook his head. If 4 out of 5 people belonged to Poseidon clan, his team would be branded as a member of their faction, and he would become their underling in others' eyes. I will find the other 2 members by myself. Neo exchanged contacts with Christian and left. He could fill the remaining spots with random team members. I need to train. I don't have much time left. Just as he was about to step out of the mission hall, a boy with red flaming hair blocked his path. Let me join your team. Mars grinned. He continued with fervor. I have decided you will be my rival. Okay. Neo exchanged contact with Mars, sent him the team form, and left before Mars could react. There is no way I'm waiting for that battle fanatic to talk. I bet he would ask for a spar. Mars chose the 100th rank since his clan ordered him to. His actual combat ability was way higher. Even if Mars had a few screws loose, he was worth teaming up with. Neo entered his dorm room and locked it from inside. He stepped into the training hall. Finally, I can train. Neo used the Essence Breath spell to recover his divine energy. There was something Neo had to check before he trained his water element. Darkness. He formed the necessary hand sign. Come. The divine energy rushed into his core. After being infused with darkness element, it spread throughout his body. The hand sign blocked the magic circuits on Neo's hands. It acted like a valve, and the divine energy, with nowhere to go, rushed towards his feet. His magic circuits on the sole of the feet were the most developed after the magic circuits on the palms. The darkness spread out and formed a domain beneath his feet. Neo opened his eyes. He stared at the darkness. So, this is why I had to use the hand signs. Spells were fascinating. Neo had been using them without understanding how they worked. Repeated usage of necrotic touch developed the magic circuits on his palms. Ocean's Embrace did the same for all of his magic circuits. It was why he could use darkness in one go when he tried. Because the magic circuits on his feet grew after he used Ocean's Embrace over and over again. I failed to trigger necrotic touch when I tried it for the first time as my magic circuits were completely dormant. It was all interconnected. Everything happened for a reason. Neo couldn't contain his excitement. He started training to grow stronger. He didn't want to be mediocre. But now he wanted to learn about spells and elemental affinities too. The feeling of becoming stronger and the knowledge he gained along the way was intoxicating. He couldn't get enough of it. Focus, I'm getting sidetracked. Neo switched his hand sign and boosted the infusion inside his core. The darkness spread out endlessly. It reached the walls, climbed, and continued to cover the roof. The entire room was shrouded in darkness by the end. Neo's expression twisted when he tried to maintain the coffin of darkness. The technique could be used to trap enemies. He used it against Morrigan in the ranking competition. Unfortunately, she shattered his coffin of darkness effortlessly. He had to increase the mastery of the technique if he did not want the situation to repeat. After training for hours, he got the gist of it. This much should be enough for darkness. He let go the hand signs and switched the infusion inside his core. From darkness to water. The output of his divine energy shrunk instantly. He had trouble maintaining a steady pace of conversion, and the process was slow. His brows creased. Hours passed, and finally, water droplets dripped from his palms. The success broke Neo's focus, and the conversion stopped. He fell to his back, drained physically and out of divine energy. A smile blossomed on his face. I did it. He stared at the status window to know the time. 8 hours, 26 minutes left until the quest is terminated. 8 hours. It was enough time to brush up his water-creating skill to a usable level. 0 hours, 10 minutes left until the quest is terminated. Neo sat on the sofa. The time was nearly up. He would soon go to the underworld and face enemies who could possibly kill him. I've done everything I can. Neo trained using his darkness and water. He practiced his spells and refilled his divine energy reserves. There was just one thing he didn't do. Practice Aura Blade. It was a high-level technique and too draining on his divine energy pool. He would have practiced it if he had a week. A day was too short. Neo stared at the pen and paper on the table. He picked them up to write his will. What should I leave? It needs to be something useful, since this time I might just die. But I don't feel it would be right for me to leave a heartfelt letter behind while posing as Neo Hargraves. Despite his calm words, his arms were trembling. He couldn't forget the brutal death. The feeling of his flesh being torn apart as the gremlins ate him alive was etched into his brain. The only reason he could sleep was because he exhausted himself to the limit every day. Otherwise, he would remember the scene of his death when he closed his eyes. Neo took a deep breath. He picked the pen and wrote, "To the dearest brother in the world, sorry for leaving before you. Please don't be reckless and do anything that would make me sad. I wish you would live a peaceful life, get married, and spend your life happily in my place." He chuckled at his words. Why was the letter so sorrowful? It was almost as if Neo believed he couldn't return. He shook his head. His preparations were complete. There was a high chance he would win against the gremlins. Still, it never hurt to be prepared. Should I leave a letter for Elizabeth and Amelia? Nothing came to his mind after he wrote their names on the paper. While he was thinking hard, the timer reached 10 seconds. There was no time left. Neo crossed out their names and activated Death Skill. He felt a shift. Cold air stung his skin, and immense pain shot through his body. He appeared in the middle of the gremlin camp and fell to his knees. The injuries, the broken fingers, cleaved ear, shattered shoulder he sustained last time he was in Underworld healed, at the cost of his divine energy. Neo's blood was wrung dry. He vision spun, and he heaved his empty stomach. Nauseous, fatigued, distressed. It was the worst possible way to begin the mission. The gremlins noticed him. Those little critters circled him. Neo had no choice. He had to fight in his current condition. Taking a deep breath, he activated Essence Breath spell. The divine energy, rich air of Underworld entered his lungs and pumped his blood. He moved slowly at first. It was not easy to move while using the spell, but this was why he had been training. When an evolved gremlin approached him cautiously, Neo grabbed its head and smashed it into the ground, killing it in one go. The gremlins became livid. They screeched like a banshee. Neo did not wait for them to organize their ranks and dived into their midst. He tightened his grip around Obitus and slashed. Why was Obitus here? There was no time to think. Neo, surrounded, swung the sword in a wide arc to push the gremlins back. He was about to attack again when a noose came flying at him. Last time, it was those noose that done him in. Neo twisted his waist to dodge the rope. He grabbed it when it missed him and pulled the rope with a snap. 5 gremlins came flying. He broke their vital organs with the sheathed sword. Suddenly, his senses rang crazily. He let go of the essence breath without thinking and activated Ocean's embrace. The blade failed to pierce his back. Neo turned around to look at the confused, evolved gremlin's face. These bastards only know how to attack from behind. He crippled the evolved gremlin with a kick to its knee and bashed its face with the hilt of the sword. The other gremlins attacked at the same time, but Neo was able to ignore them thanks to the Ocean's embrace. The monsters tried to form formations before attacking Neo. It gave him time to compose himself. It's good the Essence Breath spell is tremor ranked. I should be able to use Ocean's Embrace for 20 minutes with the divine energy I've recovered. He fought like mad berserker. Even with the Ocean's Embrace, he was losing his stamina at a rapid pace. There was no time to hold back. The gremlins soon realized Neo was capable of dodging the ropes. They changed tactics. Dozens of evolved gremlins rushed at him from all sides. The monsters tried to hold him down. Learning from the last time, Neo swiftly dodged the ones who tried to grab his limbs and killed them with a combination of necrotic touch and his sword's bashes. Fuck, these guys are infinite. Neo was running out of breath. There was no end to endless wave of gremlins. Scorching heat stung Neo's skin, and his senses warned him. He raised his head. The giant fireball floated in the sky. Shit. Neo's eyes widened. He tried to escape the fireball's area of impact. The evolved gremlins threw themselves at him. They wouldn't let him take a step, let alone escape. Neo clenched his fist. He had to take the gamble. He canceled his spells and fused his divine energy with death affinity. He compressed the energy within his core to the limit. Blood trickled down his lips. He ignored the gremlins attacking him. His stamina and divine energy rapidly decreased. And red lightning crackled around his sword silently. Neo slashed. There was no impact. No attack flew out of his sword. The gremlins surrounding him suddenly fell like dolls with their strings cut. Death. It claimed them without warning. Neo, exhausted and on the verge of fainting, bolted out of the area. The fireball hit the ground before he could leave its area of impact completely. He used the Ocean's Embrace. Neo blanked out when the exploding fireball crashed against him. Cough! Cough! He woke up, smashed into the wooden wall of the camp. Half of his clothes burned from the blistering heat, and his skin black and charred. Cough! Cough! Neo's throat dry, stung when he coughed. His nostrils burned, and he couldn't breathe. His limbs creaked when he tried to move. Crazy monsters. They took out their own to kill me. Neo noticed blood and pus leaking out of his cracked skin as he stood. He tried to ignore the pain and used essence breath. His divine energy reserve started to recover. He stood up and scanned the area. Half of the camp was destroyed by the fireball. The gremlins were in worse condition than him. Except the evolved gremlins, barely any normal gremlin survived. The survivors didn't attack Neo. They were busy devouring their kin to recover. Neo ignored them. He trudged his feet towards the source of the Death Affinity's warning, the one who aimed the fireball, the leader of the gremlins. It stared at Neo with a mocking gaze. The monster, twice the size of Neo, held a staff in its hand. Found you. The corner of Neo's lips rose. He formed the hand sign. Darkness come. The shadows expanded like a blooming flower. They formed a dome, trapping Neo and the great gremlin inside. Kirir, the great gremlin realized something was wrong. The prey that should have been scared, trembling in his boots, injured and unable to fight back, was looking down at it. The great gremlin's instincts warned it. It raised its staff and chanted spells in its own language. Multiple small icicles formed behind it. Neo didn't run. He didn't try to cover the distance between the great gremlin and himself. He raised his sword above his head. He burned his god blood and infused his divine energy with death element. Red lightning materialized around his blade. Kiririr, the great gremlin, attacked. The icicles pierced Neo's limbs. Blood poured out of his injuries. His arms shook, and he could barely stand straight. However, his gaze remained firm. The red lightning flared like a great bonfire. Neo compressed darkness alongside death inside his core. Wisps of black flame flickered on his blade. Kiririr, the great gremlin, realized it was in danger. It tried to run, only to be blocked by the coffin of darkness. The monster attacked, when suddenly, Neo slashed. Nothing happened. The great gremlin chanted a fireball spell. It thought Neo's attack failed when Neo puked blood and fell to his knees. Finally, the human lowered his gaze. It was about to attack when it stopped moving. A red line, running from the top of its head to the base of its stomach, appeared on its body. The monster split into two vertical halves. Huff! Huff! Neo couldn't maintain the coffin of darkness anymore. The darkness returned to his shadow. He won, but there was no time to rest or bask in the glory of victory. When the coffin of darkness disappeared, the surviving gremlins surrounded Neo. They stared at the corpse of the great gremlin, fear evident in their eyes, and didn't approach Neo instantly. These fuckers, they are waiting for me to die from exhaustion. Neo bit his lips. The pain brought clarity to his mind. He used his sword as support to stand. His blood trickled out, and it lured the gremlins. The monsters tried to act sanely and waited until Neo could not move. However, a single brave, greedy gremlin gulped. It rushed towards Neo, intoxicated by the smell of Neo's blood. Not wanting to lose their prey, the horde of gremlins followed after the first one. Neo smiled bitterly. He grabbed his sword and prepared to fight. He could use immortal and run away to the world of living. But, he vowed, today he would win, even if he had to die. He didn't want to feel the sense of defeat he felt last time. He would rather die than become a loser. The first gremlin reached Neo. It pounced on him and sunk its teeth into his shoulder. Neo snapped its neck with one hand. The next gremlin arrived. He bashed its head with the sword. An attack from behind landed on his hand, and Neo lost the blade. Neo turned around and punched the gremlin's head. The monster face burst open like a balloon. Suddenly, two gremlins jumped on his back, and a third one clawed his feet. They tried to drink his blood. Move! Neo's limbs were as heavy as lead. They wouldn't move. Don't fail me now. Neo grabbed the leg of gremlins on his back and pulled. He smashed them on the monster at his feet. Countless more gremlins arrived. They, wounded from the great gremlin's attack and intoxicated with his blood, did not work together. Instead, they attacked each other and tried to stop their kin from devouring Neo. The human was theirs alone. They did not want to share. Seconds, minutes, hours. Neo didn't know how much time passed. When he came to his senses, he was drenched in the blood of gremlins, and he was the last man standing. The gremlins were all dead. He couldn't feel his limbs, and his innards slipped out of the wound on his torso. His vision was covered with darkness. Neo wanted to rest. He wanted to close his eyes and let go. Hadn't he done enough? But not now. If he fell after everything, how would be that any different from being defeated? He dug his nails into his flesh. He used the pain to awaken his senses. And darkness. Heed my sea call. The shadows bloomed slowly. Neo devoured the corpse near him. Countless voices spoke to him. The jarring cacophony made him feel like pulling his hair out. Insanity. It was devouring him. Neo held on. In the past, Neo never took the easy way out. He fought until the end. Even if he could escape, he challenged students stronger than him. Even if he was the weakest, and he trained, even if he felt like dying. Those actions were not meaningless. His will, tempered by his actions, protected him. Strength +1. Agility +1. The voices grew louder. Neo started to see hallucinations. Phantom pain surged throughout his body. Will +1. Muscle mass +1. Dynamic vision +2. He continued to devour the corpses. He gained primary stats, shown in the status window, and the hidden secondary stats. The darkness started to go out of control. It devoured Neo alongside the corpses. The insanity was overtaking him. And he held on. He continued to devour. For that one stat. The only way for him to survive. Finally, regeneration +3. Neo saw the light at the end of the tunnel. His vision improved, and he could breathe again. He let go of the darkness and crashed to the ground. His breaths were shallow, and he was wounded badly. However, he was healing. Slowly but definitely. Neo used Essence Breath spell while he waited for his body to recover. He sat up after a few hours. Fortunately, the heavy amount of gremlin blood covering him hid the smell of his blood. I feel like shit. He looked around. There were hundreds of corpses left for him to devour. I shouldn't do that. I'll go insane if I try to devour anything else. His eyes wandered to the body of Great Gremlin. Even if he couldn't devour others, he should devour it. He trudged to the corpse and called upon the darkness. Fear coming to His blood vessels burned, and he felt they would burst. Constitution +1. Spell casting speed +1. Right-hand magic circuit +4. Neo gasped. He took a mouthful of air and stood with the support of his sword. Suddenly, a gremlin appeared before him. He slashed. The attack passed through the monster without any resistance, and it disappeared like a mirage. Terrible pain surged in his left hand. He looked down and saw his fingers crushed. These injuries were healed. Why do I have them again? A huge shadow fell over Neo. The giant hand came down from the sky and grabbed him. It picked him up and, "Wake up! Don't let yourself be consumed." Obaida's voice woke him up. His eyes snapped open. Hallucinations. After he devoured the great goblin, everything was a hallucination. There was no gremlin left alive. His hand was not wounded, and the giant monster did not return. All of them were illusions. His mind, on the brink of insanity, showed him. Time limit reached. You will be forcibly revived. Neo woke up in his dorm. 12 hours passed already. He felt tired. The clock struck 12, and he regained the 4th stack of Immortal. Alert! You've left the quest area. Please return within 5 days, or the quest will be terminated. Unlike last time, where he got 10 days of time limit, it halved to 5 days. A sigh escaped Neo's lips. Barbato's training was far more brutal than he predicted. He gained a huge boost in stats, both primary and secondary, but it wasn't without risks. A smile appeared on his face. I did it. I won. Neo didn't face a shameful defeat like last time. He emerged victorious and returned with his head held high. His blood burned with excitement. He won against hundreds of enemies. Ha ha ha. I could do it if I try, huh? He was no longer the same Neo as the one in the past. Neo could say with confidence he wasn't mediocre anymore. He felt his eyes burn as he tried to hold back tears. His efforts weren't useless. As long as he worked hard, he was rewarded. The rush of adrenaline and dopamine erased his sleep. He used Essence Breath to recover his divine energy before returning to Underworld. Erg! Neo groaned. His divine energy was rapidly reduced to heal his broken body. It feels like shit, he said with a smile. The gremlin camp looked like it experienced a war. Half of the wooden walls and monsters were burned. Remaining half were chewed out by their kin, and the rest had their bones and heads bashed in by Neo. This reminds me, why is Obidas here? He looked down. The sword was at his waist. Obidas was a spirit technically. Spirits consumed a portion of their master's soul to grow. They replaced the missing portion of the soul and became the better half of their master. Since Obidas is my spirit, does that mean it can visit and leave Underworld along with me? It was good news. Neo roamed the destroyed camp of gremlins. The area, filled with blood and corpses, would soon attract monsters. I need to leave. It was regrettable he couldn't devour them, but he knew better than to get greedy and risk losing himself to the darkness. Right, I almost forgot about the flag. The first flag he put inside the flag post was still present. It was encapsulated in a transparent white dome. The dome was sturdy and it withstood Neo's attacks. Thankfully, It looks like my job is done after I insert the flag into the flag posts. He stared at the 4 remaining flags in his pocket. The first checkpoint nearly killed him. Neo had a feeling the next flag posts were going to be worse. He left the gremlin camp. Strangely enough, he did not encounter any monster on the way. It's too quiet. He did not find the next flag post after 6 hours search. Where the hell is it? Neo, parched, created water and drank it to quench his thirst. I should look for a high vantage point and see if I can find flag posts from there. He found a small hill after searching a bit. Just as he was about to climb, one of the flags buzzed. It flew out and pointed at the top of the hill. The second flag post is there. Neo squinted. He could see something similar to a flag post on the top. There was just one problem. Isn't this too easy? There are no monsters and I don't sense any traps. Worrying about it wouldn't solve anything. Neo took a step and climbed the hill. It took half day to reach halfway. This place is weird. It feels like it's sapping my strength. 1/4 of the distance was still left after last 6 hours. His time in Underworld was up. Neo waited for him to be teleported back to the world of living. He was going to return as soon as he arrived. But, nothing happened. He was not revived. A sense of unease appeared in Neo's heart. He opened his mouth. Status. The blue screen did not pop up. He repeated different words. The result was the same. He tried to use his spells, affinities, and divine energy. He couldn't do anything. What is happening? The mountain was weird. Neo had to get off. He turned around and looked at the path he walked only to realize a horrible truth. The path downwards was miles away. Neo recalled something. The hill was small. He should have reached the top within a few minutes. However, he completed only 3/4 of the way after 12 hours of walking. It was impossible unless... This is the second trial. An opponent worse than hundreds of gremlins combined. An enemy he couldn't defeat with physical strength. The flagpost was at the top. Neo decided to climb upwards. Minutes turned into hours, and hours into days. After the second day, he did not feel like he was making any progress. No matter how much he walked, the distance to the top wouldn't reduce. It's a good thing I can create water, or I might have died already, Neo said on the 4th day. Surprisingly, water element was the only element he could use. He could only generate water and do nothing else with the element. It was as if his ability was being restricted by a higher power. A week went by. Neo was starting to feel hungry. As a grade 4 awakened demigod, he could live without water and food longer than humans. There was, however, a limit. Fuck, should I just climb down? On the 9th day, Neo realized he might have walked over 100 miles. The distance between him and the base of the hill continued to increase. Besides, there was no guarantee he could climb downhill. There should be a limit to how much this mountain can stretch. If I keep climbing, I'm bound to reach the top. 20 days passed. Neo's stomach hurt. He felt weak and fatigued. He continued to climb. After 50 days, the pain intensified to the point he couldn't stand straight. He felt frail, his body shivered uncontrollably, and it was cold. Neo started to lose his focus by the 68th day. He would frequently go into daze and sleepwalk. He hit his limit on the 85th day. Taking a breath sent throes of agony across his body, let alone walking. By the 90th day, the pain disappeared. He felt emptiness gnawing inside him, eating at his emotions, leaving him numb. I have to reach the top. Neo repeated the same words to himself for the past 3 months. He diverted all of his attention and energy to climb even a step higher. Apex, zenith, the top. He would reach it. At the 100th day, Neo stopped breathing. He didn't even realize he died. Neo's eyes snapped open. He fell to his knees, gasping for breath, drenched in sweat, and shivering uncontrollably. Time until you are forcefully revived. 5 hours and 26 minutes. Neo was back, to the base of the hill. How? He couldn't believe the screen floating before his eyes. 3 months ago, he started climbing when 5 hours and 29 minutes were left until his revival. So, why? Why did only 3 minutes pass when, in truth, he experienced 3 months? Neo stared at the mountain. He expanded his senses, and the hill is shrouded in darkness. He bit his lips. All of it had been hallucination created by the darkness. The months of pain, agony, and despair had been nothing but a lie. Neo just stood with his head down. He didn't move for a few minutes. That damn Barbados. He gave me a hellish trial. Neo woke up from the hallucinations through pure luck. If he tried to climb the mountain again, there was no guarantee he would wake up again. The second trial was far worse than the first trial, unless he found a way to resist the darkness. No way. Resist the darkness. Neo stopped speaking. He suddenly understood the method to clear the second trial. It gave him shivers. Fucking hell. How was this training? He's trying to kill me. The only way to resist the darkness was to increase his mastery over it. The hill was coated in thick miasma of darkness. It was unsuitable for training. The gremlins? I need to devour all of them. If I don't go insane, my mastery over darkness would gain a huge boost. Barbados did not leave him a choice. The trial was made in a way where it forced Neo to devour every gremlin to increase his mastery of darkness element. Neo returned to camp of gremlins. He saw 3 quadrupedal monsters with pinkish skin, blazing red eyes, and sharp teeth feeding on the corpses. The monsters pounced on Neo when they noticed him. Neo let them bite his ocean's embrace and finish them with necrotic touch. He gazed at the hundreds of corpses. There was no way he could remain sane after devouring them. But it was the only path ahead. Before devouring the corpses, Neo repaired the camp's boundary using the wood from the trees. There was a high chance monsters would come after smelling the blood. Not only Neo had to fight the insanity of darkness, he had to protect the corpses from being stolen by the monsters. This much should be enough. He stared at the crude walls. They could barely provide any defense. Their only job was to warn Neo if someone broke through them to enter the camp. I should start. Neo formed the Imma Tenin hand sign. Darkness come. The shadows bloomed. They spread out in a controlled manner and covered a small area around Neo. He absorbed the 6 corpses he placed inside his domain. The whispers returned. They spoke to Neo. Suddenly, Neo felt his emotions slipping out of his control. Anger, fear, jealousy. Emotions that weren't his own invaded his mind. He found himself unable to control his urges. He wanted to wreak havoc. Impulses of destruction and rage fueled his heart. The corpses, completely devoured, disappeared, and they took the voices along with them. After the foreign emotions vanished, Neo snapped out of the rage. He realized his mind had been influenced by the darkness. His body shivered. He felt cold. So very cold. Digestion +1. Hearing +2. 6 corpses devoured. Over 300 corpses remained. Neo took a deep breath. He waited for his emotions to calm down before starting again. The darkness devoured the monsters. He ate a small amount. The voices screeched inside his head. It felt like his mind was torn apart hundreds of times, and each piece was forced to listen to a different jarring voice. Right hand dexterity +1. Vision +2. Black blood, tainted by darkness, dripped from his eyes. Neo tried to rein the rampaging darkness. Phantom pain surged through his body. Hallucinations of his deaths appeared in front of his eyes. Neo bit his tongue. He hoped the pain would help him hold onto his sanity. Darkness. Devour. He moved to another set of corpses. Thousands of images appeared inside his head. The lives of gremlins, their feasts, their traditions of consuming their kin, the memories of the praise they devoured. Everything was inserted into his head in a split second. Neo felt his head split. Arda. He groaned. His body stiffened. His eyes turned pitch black, and he frothed from mouth. Neo lost control over the darkness. It climbed his feet and wrapped around his body like a cocoon. The shadows, limited in range by Neo, suddenly spread far out and covered the entire gremlin camp. Neo tried to stop it, but he failed. The darkness began to devour the hundreds of gremlins at once. Neo screamed. He dug his nails into his face and doubled over. No matter how much he tried, the darkness did not let go of its hold over him. It pulled him into the abyss of insanity. Slowly, mercilessly, relentlessly, Neo could not resist. The darkness was overwhelming. He felt he was falling into an endless pit. The pain did not help. Just when he thought it was over for him, he heard a voice. Don't give up. Remember your vow. Obitus spoke to him. A black light flew towards him in the endless sea of darkness. When you have to reach the zenith, even if you have to die, I will win. Neo felt as if he reached an epiphany. He stopped resisting the darkness. He no longer tried to halt the flow of the endless darkness. Instead, he molded its flow. He let the darkness devour. Not himself, not the monsters, itself. He used the darkness to devour the darkness. The darkness grew frenzied and tried to retaliate. But Neo persisted. He accepted the gluttony of darkness. He let it paint himself in its color. In exchange, he told it to eat itself. Black flames burst over Neo's body. The divine energy in the air trembled, and the aura flames of darkness burned brightly. They devoured themselves. The darkness shrunk. It let go of its clutches over Neo. The energy, concentrated, grew smaller and got compressed. The aura flames shrunk until they became a pea-sized seed. The seed of darkness entered Neo's core. Free of the maddening noises and the countless images, Neo fell to the ground. He lost consciousness. Countless screens flashed before his closed eyes. Taste bud +1, sprint +1, punch power +3, water affinity +1, health +2, reaction speed +1, breath control +4, flexibility +1, reflexes +0, libido +4, grip strength +2, endurance immune strength +2, cold resistance +5, bone density +1, skin toughness +0, lung capacity +4, blood circulation +5, jump height +1, hand-eye coordination +0, sweat efficiency +2, metabolism +1, tactical sensitivity +1, hydration efficiency +1, sleep quality +4, agility +3, adrenal response +1, body temperature regulation +2, posture +4, height +3, tendon strength +2, core strength +1, oxygen efficiency +3, regeneration +2, nail growth rate +0, peripheral awareness +2, bladder control +4, tongue dexterity +5, blood clotting speed +2, bone healing speed +1, pheromone sensitivity +1, limb strength +1, jaw strength +0, pupil response rate +3, gait stability +1, fatigue resistance +3, finger strength +1, body symmetry +5, bowl control +2, neck strength +1, spine strength +1, limb coordination +1, hormone regulation +3, bone flexibility +2. Hundreds of corpses were devoured by Neo. His body healed completely. While he was in sleep, wisps of black flames materialized around Obitus. The sword, hungry, did its best. The black flames entered Neo's body. They reached his core and took out the newly formed seed of darkness. Neo grunted. Obitus retracted its black flames and held the seed of darkness within its clutches. There is no need for two spirits to serve a master. The black flames of Obitus devoured the seed. The sword burped before it returned to sleep. Time limit exceeded, forcefully reviving Neo Hargraves. Neo woke up in the world of living. He groaned. Warning, you have left the quest area. Please return to the quest area within 5 days. Or else, the quest rewards will be forfeited. The time limit is 5 days. It wasn't halved. Last time, it changed from 10 days to 5 days. Neo did not understand the criteria behind the time limit. He stood up with a stagger. The lingering effects of darkness were still there. At the same time, Neo felt power coursing through his veins. His primary stats barely increased, but he could tell he grew stronger. A lot stronger. My secondary stats gained a substantial boost. It meant only one thing. Neo succeeded in devouring the corpses. He looked at his body and tried to sense the changes. While he was being devoured, he could barely think straight. He did not remember half of the things that occurred back then. I think I saw Obitus' spirit. He stared at his sword. It looked the same as before. But he could tell. Obitus was a step closer to completion. At this rate, he should be able to pull the blade out of the sheath soon. What about the seed of darkness? I'm sure I created one. He sensed his core. It was empty. There was no seed of darkness inside. Did I hallucinate about forming a seed? The theory made sense. However, it made him question one thing. Neo couldn't understand it. How did he survive the darkness if he didn't create a seed of darkness? Did Obitus save me? It was the only answer he could think of. He looked at the sword. Obitus, what happened back then? There was no answer. The sword's spirit was asleep. It must have spent a lot of energy to help me back then, Neo smiled. Thank you. Foreign emotions appeared inside his head. Happiness, delight, joy, pride. Obitus could not talk, but it could hear him. Neo smiled, seeing how happy the spirit became after hearing his praise. Now, then, should I wait for the immortal to Reztak, or should I return to Underworld, as is? The time limit was ticking by. Neo made his decision. He used Death Skill and woke up in the Underworld. For the first time in ages, he didn't lose half of his divine energy upon arrival. He took a deep breath. I can taste the darkness infused in the air. Seems like my senses increased with the mastery. The thick amount of death and darkness elements in the underworld calmed Neo. He felt like he was home. I wonder if my current mastery is enough to complete the second trial. The hill where the second flag post was located was only an hour away. Neo reached its base. With his improved mastery, he could see the thick, almost intangible darkness covering the hill. He smiled wryly. How did I fail to sense all of this before? If I hadn't been lucky back then, the darkness here would have devoured me. Neo took a step. He climbed. The darkness rushed towards him. It wrapped him in thick miasma and tried to eat him alive. Insanity attacked his mind. Emotions that weren't his own. Memories of a past he never experienced. Desperate pleas he never made. His mind buzzed with countless thoughts. Neo continued to walk. He ignored everything. His mind, numbed, withstood the onslaught unwaveringly. The darkness surged when he reached halfway through the path. Black flames of darkness materialized. They tried to burn Neo, but he was one with the darkness already. The black flames of such level were no longer a threat to him. So, he walked, step by step, and he reached the top. Neo took out the flag and inserted it into the flag post. Suddenly, the flag post shined and it absorbed all of the darkness lingering on the hill. The second trial is done. Neo couldn't help but think it was ironic. The trial nearly made him go insane and turned him into a monster, and once he finished his preparations, it was far easier than the first trial. He checked the timer. 10 hours left. I can start searching for the third flag post. It was clear by now the next flag posts would have a trial associated with them. The next trials would be more dangerous. Neo was not afraid of them. His emotions were numbed thanks to the mastery of darkness. He had not become an emotionless machine, but if he continued to walk on the path of darkness, he would become like that one day. Let's see. It should be easier to scout the forest from the hill. Neo scanned the forest. Again, he realized the forest was too silent. Was this how the underworld was supposed to be, or was it related to the trials? He hoped it was the former. What's that? Neo saw a mansion far into the distance. The building was majestic and regal, completely contrasting the ambience of the underworld. That's where I will find a third trial, won't I? It couldn't have been less obvious. Neo got off the hill and went into the direction of the hill. It took him a few hours to cover the distance. The mansion was, as expected, enormous. Just when he reached the mansion gate, the third flag moved and pointed at the mansion. As expected, it's here. He pushed the main gate. They opened with a screech. Neo held his sword, ready to fight, and slowly walked in. A lush garden with a marble path running through it lay beyond the main gates. The flowers were colorful and fragrant. Neo made sure to keep away from them. He circled the garden. There was a tea house deep inside. Other than that, there was nothing worthwhile. There was no living presence in the area. However, the flowers in the garden were well maintained, proving someone lived there. Is the owner of the mansion inside? He entered the mansion through the doors. The interior, brightly lit, had marble floor, high vaulted ceiling, large windows, and expansive halls. Suddenly, Obitus trembled. Its emotions, fear, dread, horror, surged in Neo's mind. The sword was telling Neo to run away. He might have pushed forward despite the warnings in normal situations. However, the intensity of fear was too high. Just when he was about to turn away, a voice reached his ears. Oh my, guess! A skeleton, wearing princess tulle dress with a frill-layered skirt, walked down the staircase at the end of the hall. She wore a cloche hat, and her eyes, instead of being hollowed, had gentle black flames burning in them. Obaida's emotions went out of control when the skeleton woman appeared. It wanted Neo to escape as soon as possible. You will die, Ro. I stop her. Black flames and red lightning erupted from the sword sheath. They attacked the woman when suddenly. No need to be afraid, child. I won't harm your master. The attacks disappeared. They vanished into nothingness. Obaidas tried to fight again. Sleep, the woman spoke, and Obaida's spirit went into a slumber. I apologize for being forceful, but it didn't look like she would listen to me. The woman smiled wryly. Despite her face being a skeletal head, Neo could tell her expressions. She was smiling. She was beautiful. These aren't my thoughts or emotions. The gravity of the situation finally hit Neo. He never sensed his mind being invaded, and why was he so calm? Neo realized. It was her doing. She was manipulating his emotions. Oh my, you've reached apprentice mastery in darkness already? The woman smiled in delight. I wasn't expecting that, she said. She snapped her fingers. Suddenly, Neo felt as if a hand holding his head disappeared. His thoughts were his own again. The woman descended down the staircase and stood in front of him. I'm Paimon Lenoir, former Grand Duke. Pleased to make your acquaintance. She curtsied. Neo felt compelled to answer. Neo, Hargraves. Just Hargraves? She gasped only to realize her gesture was rude. Pardon my surprise. It is my first time meeting a kin of his who has yet to go through ennoblement. This must be why Barbados came to find me. Neo didn't understand the current situation. His mind told him to run away, but his senses were calm. They told him there was no danger. Either the woman had no intention of harming him, or she was too strong for him to even think of escaping. What is this trial? The woman snapped out her thoughts and faced him. Oh my, look at me. I haven't even asked you for a tea. Please follow me. She walked towards the garden. When Neo didn't follow her, she showed him a small flag post. I will give this to you if you listen to my words. Neo followed her. The two stepped out of the mansion and entered the garden. It took them a few minutes to reach the tea house. Please sit. She pulled a chair for him and began preparing a tea. What are you? He asked as sat. You feel same as Barbados. We do. We might have inherited the monarch's blood, but it doesn't belong to us, so we never noticed we felt same. Paimon poured him the tea. Inherited the blood. You're a Grim Reaper too. Was. She sat in front of him and drank from her cup. How old are you? She asked. First year in Demigod Academy. You are quite young. What about family? Do you have siblings? Brother, yes, an older one. That's a surprise. There are two descendants of the monarch in a single era. It's a good news. I wouldn't say that. My brother couldn't awaken his god blood. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He must have been devastated. It's the opposite. We didn't know we had the blood of monarch until I awakened. I haven't told him about it either. Why? Didn't have the time to tell him. The two talked over the tea like old friends. Paimon asked questions, and Neo answered. It looked like she just wanted to talk to him. It was peaceful, and it made Neo suspicious. There is no need to be cautious. I only wanted a conversation partner, she said as if she read his mind. Aren't you the former Grand Duke? There should be no shortage of people who want to talk to you. Paimon placed her empty teacup on the table. She looked him in the eye. You'd say I lost the interest in anything and everything. The reason I wanted to talk to you was to see if a descendant of monarch could rouse my interest. Neo frowned. Suddenly, Paimon slashed with her arm. A scythe came out of her sleeves, and the blade stopped just before Neo's eyes. Neo wasn't afraid, even though he should have been. He stared at the tip of the scythe calmly. I'm the same as you. My emotions have been numbed. I gained immense power as I walked on the path of darkness. But I can't feel anything anymore, she said. Paimon retracted her arm after the scythe disappeared. She took out the flag post. This is your third trial. Teach me about emotions. Neo looked at her, unable to understand the nuisance behind her words. How far you can walk on the path of darkness is measured by your emotions. The more emotions you can sacrifice, the higher your progress. But sacrifice everything, and you'll reach your limit, never to progress on the path again. I've lost them all. So, teach me about what I can't remember. It was a difficult trial. The second trial was nothing compared to it. Last time, he knew what he had to do. But now, he had no idea. Barbados has made this trial for you. Teaching me will have you teach yourself about the emotions too. If you succeed, you won't fall to the numbness of darkness in the future. Neo massaged his head. Fuck. Paimon chuckled when she saw his expression. You should return to the world of living. It should be time for your academy to begin. Worry not. We have plenty of time. Time. Neo's expression worsened. The time limit would begin when he returned to the other side. Okay. Neo stood up and used Immortal to leave. He wanted to refresh his mind and try to come up with a solution. The world shifted. Neo woke up in his room. The sunlight peeking through the window made him squint. He waited for the quest timer to appear. But, where is it? It never came. Just then he heard a voice. It's been a while since I came to the world of living. A small skeleton doll, the size of Neo's palm, wearing a cute dress, jumped down from his head. It landed on the table and looked at him with his burning black eyes. Paimon. Indeed, it is I, Paimon in bones. She chuckled. Neo sank back into the sofa. A sigh of relief escaped his lips. This is why the timer didn't appear. I haven't left the quest area as Paimon came with me. The quest is going on even though I've returned to this side. It was one less thing to worry about. However, he still had to think of a way to teach Paimon about emotions. You should freshen up. No? The classes should be starting soon. Neo nodded. He had a lot of things to do in the world of living. Finding the fifth team member, completing the team registration, learning about magic spells, and complete missions. The worst? He had a Barbados training too. Why are you smiling? Paimon questioned. Nothing, I'm just happy. Everything he did was for his future. How could he not be happy? He stood up and folded the will he wrote before leaving. What is this? Paimon asked. My will. Neo placed it inside the drawer. He turned to Paimon. Will you follow me with that appearance? Indeed. But, worry not. Hardly anyone can see me. Now, give me your hand. He followed her words. Paimon jumped on his palm and climbed his arm. She sat on his shoulder. Let's go, my soldier. Neo smiled at her actions. He grabbed the door's handle, opened it, and saw his homeroom teacher, Anna, and a short old woman, the principal probably, outside. Anna carried a long bag on her back, while Charlotte stood with a cane support. The two women stared at him. Neo, surprised, quickly calmed down. Charlotte opened her mouth before him. See, Elise? He is alive. I told you it was a needless worry. Anna, maybe Elise was her nickname, did not reply to the principal. She stared at Neo silently. Her gaze shifted to his shoulder, and she looked at Paimon. Neo froze. Now, young man, don't be surprised too much. Ask us to enter the room at least. You are making us stand at your doorsteps, Charlotte said. Please come inside. The two women entered. Neo closed the door behind them and followed them into the hall. Charlotte sat on the main sofa and Anna on the small one on her right. Neo was on sofa next to the Anna and directly in front of Charlotte. Young man, can you release your death aura? Charlotte asked. Confused, he asked cautiously, why? We sensed a thick aura of death and darkness on the campus a few hours ago. It took us time to find its source, and the clues led us to you, Charlotte answered. Neo noticed Anna's gaze was aimed at Paimon. Could she see her? Hopefully not. Young man. Okay. He unleashed his death aura. A flicker of surprise passed through Anna's eyes. Charlotte raised her hand to cover her mouth. Your mastery of death is about to reach adept rank. How did you do it? Charlotte questioned. She turned to Anna. You never told me his immortality worked against spiritual death. I did not know about it myself, Anna answered. Seeing the confusion in Neo's eyes, Anna tapped her necklace. Her figure blurred, and a woman with white hair and cold expression appeared in her place. Elizabeth? What is she doing here? Wait, she is my homeroom teacher. Neo, while outwardly calm, was surprised. The principal and Elizabeth knew each other. This was clear at a glance. Did she hire Elizabeth and ask her to become our teacher in disguise? Looks like Elizabeth told about my immortality to her. Charlotte coughed to bring Neo out of his thoughts. The aura of darkness you're releasing shows your mastery over it has reached apprentice rank. I believe both of your masteries increased because of a similar reason. He was releasing aura of darkness. Neo expanded his senses. He failed to find any traces of darkness on himself. Young man, please tell us, how did you manage to kill your spirit, mind? If it was just a physical death, we would have ignored it. But a method to harm the spirit, mind, is dangerous. We can't let someone capable of wielding such powers roam on the campus unsupervised. Neo understood Charlotte's words. However, he didn't understand the meaning behind them. I kill my spirit, mind. Sorry, I don't think I know what you're talking about. Young man, there is no need to hide the truth from us. There is only one way your mastery of death nearly reached adept rank. From apprentice to adept. You've experienced a spiritual death. Charlotte spoke with a strict tone. Watching Neo's confused expression made them realize one thing. He wasn't acting. He didn't know what they were talking about. Physical death is where your body dies, while spiritual death is where your spirit, mind dies. The fastest and riskiest way to increase your mastery over death element is to experience different deaths. Physical deaths will help you reach apprentice mastery, and spiritual deaths will lead you to adept mastery. I see, Neo said. He knew these things already. However, he never went through a spiritual death. That can't be possible. Neo died inside the illusions when he first attempted to climb the mountain during the second trial. He woke up at the foot of the hill after the death. He thought he had been lucky, that he broke through the illusion of the darkness through sheer luck. Luck? He survived the assault of darkness through luck. It's impossible. The darkness would never make such a mistake. Why didn't I realize this sooner? Goosebumps rose on Neo's arms. I didn't survive back then. My mind was consumed by the darkness, even though I was physically alive at the base of the mountain. Neo's face hardened. I died at that moment. Immortal. The skill revived him. Neo's spirit died, and he was resurrected back to his physical body in the underworld. He did not survive through luck. He never survived. No, wait. If I was resurrected back then, why didn't the count of immortal reduce? Neo opened the status. 2 stacks of immortal left. Time until +1 stack. 16 hours and 15 minutes. Neo lost 1 stack after his fight with Great Gremlin. It was res-tacked after the midnight. This left him with 4 stacks. He lost 1 of them after he devoured all gremlin corpses and another one when he returned with Paimon. He should have 2 stacks left. The status screen showed the same. So I never died inside the illusion? Neo felt confused. If he didn't die spiritually, how did his mastery over death improve? He stared at the status screen. There was something he was missing, something he couldn't understand. Suddenly, a sharp pain tore through Neo's head. He clutched his temples and groaned. Neo, Anna moved next to him swiftly and looked at him with a concerned gaze. I'm okay. He bit his lips. The pain increased over time. He started to hear voices. Hef found Jesue failed with failed and not asida shanata sedanatist. The noise of darkness grew louder and louder. Neo tried to suppress the screams. The status screen glitched. It shook. The noises grew chaotic. He maintained his focus on the status screen. And it changed. 1 stacks of immortal left. Time until +1 stack. 16 hours and 15 minutes. From 2 to 1. He hoofendigia found sit wash funitwas funlet splayga janaganagain. The noises disappeared. Neo was left gasping for breath. His clothes were drenched with sweat. He raised his eyes and looked at Charlotte. The aura of darkness. I was releasing. Do I still have it? It disappeared just now. Her answer horrified Neo. He had been, since the moment he stepped on the mountain, under the illusion of darkness. Had he killed himself twice, thinking he had 2 stacks left, when in truth he had only 1 stack remaining? Neo took deep breaths to calm himself. It took him a few minutes. I'm sorry for acting weirdly, he said. Have you calmed down? Charlotte asked. Yes. Can you tell me what happened? I was under the influence of darkness until now. I see. Charlotte's gaze sharpened. Back to the topic. How did your masteries increase? Paimon spoke before Neo could. The matters of the underworld cannot be revealed to the souls of living. Charlotte and Elizabeth turned to Paimon. They could see her. You were the reason he died a spiritual death? Elizabeth asked. Partially, yes. Elizabeth clicked her tongue. And Paimon's body suddenly exploded. Neo was left stunned. Why did you do that? Because she made me angry. Elizabeth ignored Neo's trepidation and looked him in the eye. Did she threaten you when you visited the underworld? Oh my, we have a feisty child here. Paimon appeared on Neo's other shoulder. What would you have done if I was really threatening Neo? Attacking me suddenly will put him in danger if you can't defeat me in one attack. Elizabeth clenched her fist. A small black hole appeared over Paimon's navel. It sucked her body inside itself. I just need to kill you in one attack. You can't kill what isn't alive. The skeleton doll appeared above Neo's head. It was as if she was always there. Paimon smiled. Child, you need to think before you act, or your actions will be the death of you one day. Elizabeth's eyebrow twitched. She was about to attack again until Charlotte called her out. Elise, stop. Charlotte's word made Elizabeth turn to her. We need to think calmly before doing anything. That being is from Underworld. Her words changed nothing. Elizabeth was still raring to go. She suddenly looked at Neo, realizing he would be caught up if they fought without holding back, and returned to her seat with a fiery gaze. Thank you for stopping. Before you misunderstand, all of my actions were done upon Neo's request, Paimon explained. He asked to be killed. Elizabeth questioned. No, I didn't kill him either. I was partially responsible, yes, but he knew the risks beforehand, and he always had the choice to back out, Paimon said. A heavy aura appeared in the room as Elizabeth tried to control her anger. She turned to Neo. Why didn't you back out? I was training. His words made her go silent. She asked after a few seconds. How many times have you died while you train? A few times? I don't remember the exact number. Suddenly, Neo felt as if he was being stared at by a predator. His back was drenched in sweat and his teeth clattered. Neo, Elizabeth spoke. There was no warmth in her eyes. It was the gaze of tyrant. Have you let the fact you have a little bit of talent get to your head? Neo couldn't move. He had trouble breathing. Stop your training. I won't. I'll kill you if you refuse. Neo bore the immense pressure and smiled. Well, I'm immortal. You think that is fooling anyone. The pressure weighing him down doubled. There has to be a condition to your immortality. A limit to the number of resurrections? Or do you need to sacrifice something? Maybe you need to complete tasks for the Grim Reapers, and they revive you in return. Blood trickled down from the corner of Neo's lips. His bones creaked. Whatever it is, your immortality isn't invincible. I just need to kill you enough times to make sure you stay dead. So, tell me, will you stop your training or not? We can always try if I'm really immortal or not, Neo answered. Just when he thought he would be squashed completely, the pressure disappeared. Then, do as you wish. Elizabeth stood up and turned around to leave. Wait, Neo called out to her. That bag, does it have the item I asked for? This bag, she pointed to the bag. Yes, the trident is inside it. Thanks for bringing it to me. Who said I'm giving this to you? That was the deal. It was, but have you seen a tyrant keep their side of deal? Neo was left stunned. Why was she being so petty? Watching her departing figure, Neo realized she might be angrier than he thought. Maybe I should skip her class for today. Elizabeth stopped at the door. She tapped the necklace on her neck and returned to the disguise of Anna. Don't even think about bunking. I'll help you train as much as you want. So look forward to the class. She left. Neo covered his face. Charlotte chuckled. Since I confirmed what caused your spiritual death, I won't pry into your matters anymore. I'll be taking my leave. She turned around just as she about to step out of the doors. Elise likes plushies. After Charlotte left, Neo was left massaging his temples. Is she telling me to gift plushies to Elizabeth? No way. Wouldn't that backfire? He could imagine himself getting blown by a gravity attack after he decided to gift a plushie. Why didn't you tell me I was being influenced by the darkness? I'm not here to help you. The trials are yours, and yours alone to clear. Fair enough. Seeing her smile, Neo understood it was a facade. Paimon smiled, since it was seen as a friendly act, and it lowered others' defense towards her. It wasn't because she was happy. The distance to the class was considerable. Neo covered half of the way when a notification arrived on his smartphone. Official notice. First period has been rescheduled from Aura class, Theory, to Aura class, Practical. Arrive at the given venue before the designated time. He checked the venue and the time in the attached mail. The venue was a massive gym. I need to reach there in 5 minutes? That's impossible. Suddenly, he wondered if this was Elizabeth's doing. It can't be. She isn't our practical class teacher. The timetable was released a day ago. It showed different courses and teachers responsible for the courses. Elizabeth taught only Aura Theory to Neo's class. He ran to the venue and reached it in 10 minutes. I shouldn't be the only one who is late. So, I guess it should be fine. His words got stuck in his throat when he pushed open the door. Everyone was there. They stared at him. Judging from how they stood in organized rows, they reached the venue long ago. You were 5 minutes late, Neo Hargraves. Elizabeth spoke. She stood in front of the group of the students. The teacher of the Aura Practical class, an old man, sat on a chair and read newspaper while ignoring the class. Did she substitute the class? His future didn't look bright to him. I apologize, Neo spoke. He joined the students. You will receive a penalty later, Elizabeth said. We will start the class now that everyone is here. Today, we will have a training session. Quickly form teams according to your elements. The students frowned. They had to team up with those who had same element as them. The teams would be imbalanced if that were to happen. Arthur raised his hand. Speak, Elizabeth said. Isn't what you said disadvantageous for students with rarer elements? It would. You don't need to worry about others. Her sharp answer forced Arthur to lower his hand with an awkward smile. Form teams of 3 students at most. The students dispersed. Neo wondered if he should go for death or darkness when Arthur and Felix approached him. Why were you late? Felix questioned. I wasn't. It took 10 minutes to run from Seraphim Hall to here. Yeah, we know that. There was enough time to arrive at the venue. We got the message 10 minutes before the class started. Neo took out his phone and showed them the message. Arthur and Felix's eyebrows shot up in surprise. They showed their inbox to Neo. Why did you two receive the message 5 minutes earlier than me? It's the same for everyone. Felix's answer made Neo frown. Neo looked at Elizabeth from the corner of his eyes. She didn't send me the message late on purpose, right? Of course, that can't be possible. It must be a network error, Felix sighed. Anyway, which elements group are you two joining? Lightning. Death for me. What about you? I'll join water. The 3 talked a bit before splitting up. Neo didn't worry about Felix getting harassed. There was no way the students could act up under Elizabeth's eyes. Neo saw the number of students in Death Elements group. There is no one here. Death was a rare element. Even if someone had affinity for death, they didn't use it since it was hard to raise Death's mastery. But wasn't it too much to have 0 students with Death Element as their priority? He turned to the group of students with Darkness Element. The place was empty. Maybe I should change my group? Neo would have been fine being alone if the training helped him. It was easy to see that wouldn't happen. Elizabeth seems to be out to punish him. Water Elements group looks okay. He took a single step when suddenly he heard Elizabeth's voice. Choose the groups according to your primary element. She spoke while looking at him. Neo closed his eyes. Yeah, he was fucked. The gym was divided into several rooms joined by a long corridor. The rooms were open from above. There were seats on the 2nd floor. They allowed the teachers to observe the rooms from above. He stood in front of the door of Death Element's training room. You can enter, Elizabeth said. She was on the 2nd floor along with the teacher, Adam, responsible for Practical Aura class. Her eyes were fixed at him. Neo could tell that without looking up. The room, empty, was as big as a mid-sized hall. Do it, Elizabeth told Adam. The old man put down his newspaper. He stood against the railing and opened his mouth. Bloom. Glowing pollens rained slowly. They suddenly expanded when they touched the floor. The divine energy from the air was sucked into them. Neo took a step back. His eyebrows creased. Disgust. He felt loathing from the deepest part of his soul when the pollen swole and transformed into a humanoid golem made from tree branches. Life element. His reaction was similar to when a person saw trash. He didn't want to go near it. The pollens continued to fall. More plant-type golems appeared. Some of the pollens mutated into wooden birds. They flapped their wings and took flight. Neo, Hargraves. Elizabeth's voice snapped Neo out of his thoughts. He looked up. As a penalty for being late, I will be putting restrictions on you during today's training session. Obitus trembled. No, she is. Before the sword could complain, it shot out of Neo's grasp and floated behind Elizabeth. I will be confiscating your personal weapon. Neo looked at her, exasperated. She ignored his gaze and opened her mouth. Now, I will explain the training's content. Lightning Element Training Room. The flying golems give 5 points. Your task is to destroy as many of them as possible while the bipedal golems attack you. The team with the highest points will win. Each room will have one winner. The explanation was easy to understand. Arthur looked around. While he was searching for teammates, he saw Morrigan. She was being ostracized by the Zeus clan and their new leader Lucas. Morrigan, you don't have teammates either? How about? She passed him without acknowledging his existence. He smiled bitterly. Look, she is still angry about the cafeteria incident. Arthur looked around. It was compulsory to form teams. He would have to join the students who were left out. Sigh, I feel like a loner. Water Elemental Training Room. Thanks for letting me join your team, Felix said. It's no problem. I'm happy to help Neo's friends, Christian said. Christian had an underhanded motive for teaming up with Felix. He planned to have Neo owe him a favor for helping Felix. It was a good thing I became Neo and Arthur's friend, Felix smiled. She understood Christian's intentions rather easily. Who is our last teammate? She asked. It's Mississippi. The two looked at the corner of the training room. Leonora sat there on a beanbag made through a water element magic spell. She chewed a bubblegum while playing games on Switch and wore earphones to drown out the noise from outside. Is that allowed? Felix questioned. I wish it wasn't. Christian held a defeated expression. He had long given up on making Leonora work. It was good enough she was attending classes. Suddenly, Anna spoke from the second floor. The winning teams will receive 0.3 credits as a reward. The students looked at her in surprise. A smile bloomed on their face. Death Element Training Room. Doesn't that mean I'm confirmed to get 0.3 credits? Neo doubted his ears. As the only person in the room, he was guaranteed to win. Moreover, he did not need to share the credits with the teammates. Wasn't she trying to punish me? He looked up at Elizabeth. She is unexpectedly kind. Just as he thought that, a vine was whipped toward his head. He barely dodged the attack. The other bipedal golems pounced on him without warning. A few of them slashed their elongated arms like whips, while others attacked in close quarters. Neo used Ocean's Embrace. He punched the golem closest to him and blew off its face. A punch came flying toward his chest. Neo shifted his weight. He grabbed the golem's fist after he dodged the attack with a hair's margin and flipped the golem over his head. While the golems had advantage in numbers, Neo was experienced in fighting large groups. He fought while carefully maintaining his stamina and divine energy reserves. It should have been an easy battle. Damn it. Neo jumped back to create a gap between him and monsters. How am I supposed to take down the flying golems? I don't have any long-ranged attacks. He would win by default, even if he didn't take down the birds. However, he didn't like that. And what's up this damned element? Who named it Life Element? It should be called Zombie Element. The broken golems stood up. Their limbs and destroyed body parts regenerated. TCH, the numbers are too much to use Necrotic Touch on them. Neo was caught in a useless battle. He wouldn't lose, but he wouldn't win either. I guess that's my only choice. He used the Aura of Death. Silent red lightning crackled around his arms. Neo tried to use Aura Slash from the distance, like he did in the underworld, only to realize he couldn't. Moreover, it was harder to use Aura than usual. What the hell? Confused, he punched the golem approaching him. The condensed Aura of Death seeped into the bipedal monster. It couldn't regenerate anymore and died. Why can't I use Aura Slash? He could coat his arms in Aura of Death and punch with it. But the condensed aura wouldn't go too far from his body, leaving him incapable of using Aura Slash. Neo continued to fight. He used Aura of Death only at critical moments. The divine energy consumption of the aura decreased after his mastery over death increased. However, it was still quite high. Damn it, is it because of Obitus? Only after losing the sword did Neo realize he was depending on it too much. The sword bolstered his ability to manipulate divine energy infused with elemental affinities. It was why he could use Aura Slash. He became helpless as soon as he lost the sword. Second floor. Elizabeth pursed her lips. Her eyes followed Neo. He is too strong for a newly evolved grade 4 awakened demigod. She clenched her jaw. Did he devour something? The conversation she had with him in the morning. She never received an answer due to the interference of the being from Underworld. However, there were clues. They were enough. He devoured a large number of targets. The darkness killed him, but he revived with his skill, and his masteries increased along with his stats. The sudden increase in masteries of death and darkness came at a risk. Elizabeth clenched the railing. Why is he pushing himself to this extent? Neo was in a hurry to grow stronger. Why? Why did he need power to the point he would kill himself for it? I can't allow it. She had to stop him, even if he would hate her. Elizabeth had seen many people whose only goal was strength. None of them had a good end. They regretted wasting their life on pointless pursuit of power. She didn't want to see Neo in the same situation. Death Element Training Room. Neo gasped for breath. He had been holding his own until now thanks to the secondary stats he gained in the Underworld. But he was reaching his limit. These bastards won't just go down. Pain surged through his core. He had converted too much divine energy into death-infused divine energy. Huff, huff. Only a single shot. That was all he had left in him. Neo stared at the bird-type golems in the sky. He hadn't defeated a single one. Let's try it. Neo pointed his finger at the sky. He blocked all of his magic circuits except for the one on the tip of his index finger. He aimed and pushed out the condensed aura through a single point. Lightning crackled around his finger. Not yet. I need to increase the pressure. It was similar to pinching the mouth of the water pipe to increase the force of water flowing out. He blocked as many magic circuits as possible and diverted the excess death-infused divine energy to his finger. The intensity of lightning increased. Condensed bolts of lightning shot out of his finger. One of the flying golem was hit. The golem died. It fell out of the sky. Neo suddenly felt hollowed out. His divine energy reserves hit rock bottom, and he could barely stand. I think the attack is called Aura Snipe. Well, mine was more similar to a cannon with weak firepower. It needs to be refined. His vision blurred. Exhaustion overtook him. The last thing he saw were the remaining 9 flying golems. The training session ended. Students left their rooms and gathered in the hall. Arthur. Felix ran up to the heavily bruised Arthur. How was the test? What happened to you? My teammates betrayed me. Arthur smiled bitterly. He explained how his team members turned out to be the spy of Zeus clan. He barely managed to secure the first position in his room. Wait, what? You were first? Yeah, I was lucky. They were attacking me, and a stray attack hit Morgan. All hell broke loose after that. I used the opportunity to sneak out and kill the birds. What about you? I rode on the tailcoats of the Poseidon clan. Felix smiled embarrassedly. First? Yup, first. Arthur's exhausted expression changed to a smile. Congrats. You too. They bumped their fists. A notification arrived on Felix and Arthur's smartphones. Plus 0.1 credits. The training session has ended. I hope it helped you to understand your weakness and the importance of compatible teammates. The class is finished. You can leave. Elizabeth spoke. The students turned around to leave. Where is Neo? I don't know. Arthur spoke and approached Elizabeth. Professor, the ruler, Neo, hasn't left his training room yet. His training is still going on. Arthur found himself unable to speak up when she gave a cold answer. Her presence was too overbearing. He decided to wait with Felix for Neo to return. Neo Hargraves has to undergo a longer training session as a penalty for being late. You two should leave. Arthur wanted to wait for Neo. However, Felix pulled him out of the gym. Why do we leave? Neo would be tired when he comes out. We should have waited for him. Because the professor told us to go. Felix lied through her teeth. She had always been sensitive to other people. It was easy for her to notice the homeroom teacher, Anna, was paying special attention to Neo. Is it because he is the ruler? That doesn't explain her today's actions. She helped him on the first day, but she was targeting him today. If Anna was Neo's supporter, she wouldn't have punished him. And if she was against him, she wouldn't have saved him on the first day. Felix couldn't find the reason behind Anna's contradictory actions. Suddenly a wild thought appeared in her head. Is it a lover's quarrel? No. What am I thinking? It was impossible. Still, why would a young teacher help her student, then become angry with him the next day for no reason? I guess I'll keep my eyes open. It smelled like a spicy gossip. Second floor, elemental training gym. A golem carried Neo to the infirmary on the second floor. The nurse set up a blood transfusion to help Neo recover his divine energy faster. God blood gained through this method was harmful, as every demigod had a different bloodline. The method was not dangerous if it was done in small quantities, and it recovered the divine energy quickly. As for the physical injuries, all demigods had superior healing, and Neo barely sustained any wounds, hence the nurse did not need to use elixirs to heal him. Elizabeth entered the infirmary. How is he? Hale and hearty. His body is weak, but, surprisingly, he wasn't injured. He should be waking up in an hour. The nurse left after the diagnosis. Elizabeth checked her schedule. She had a class to teach. I'll skip today. It's not an important class. She sat next to Neo's bed. He woke up an hour later. A thick aura of death and darkness descended. It disappeared a split second later. Neo's muscles tightened. His eyes shot open. He is preparing to fight as soon as he woke up. Elizabeth pinched her arm to stop herself from frowning. Neo's actions were instinctual. How many times he was attacked as soon as he woke up to react like this? Underworld. He must have experienced those battles there. She didn't like it. She didn't like it at all. Where am I? Neo groaned. Infirmary. He looked at her when he heard her voice. Oh, thank you for bringing me here. MHM. They stayed silent. Neo sunk into the fluffy bed. He was resting when Elizabeth opened her mouth. Why do you want to grow stronger? Just cause. Elizabeth didn't believe him. His drive was too strong for it to be a whim. You won't stop no matter what I tell you. Neo let out a bitter smile. It was enough for an answer. Elizabeth pursed her lips. She wanted to force Neo if that was what it took for him to follow her words. But, take this. She was no longer a tyrant. After thinking hard about it, she decided. Her past was a lesson she had to learn from. Forcing others would never work out. When there was a conflict, both sides had to compromise. Neo looked at Obitus and the bag placed next to his bed. He stared at Elizabeth, wondering if she was really giving them to him. Don't look at me like that. They belong to you. Obitus. And the replica of Poseidon's trident. Finally, he had them both. Thank you, Neo said. Though, you're correct. They belong to me. You just snatched them and refused to return them. It was for your own good. Elizabeth huffed and looked away. Neo smiled. She was cute even when she was angry. Neo rested for a bit before he stood up and removed the blood transfusion packs. Where are you going? She asked. I have a class, he answered. Give me your number before you leave. Don't you have it already? I have your official mail, not your personal contact number. Neo nodded. He exchanged contacts with her and added her to his friends. See you later. Elizabeth pursed her lips as if she had something to say, but stayed silent in the end. Neo grabbed Obitus and the bag with the trident before he left. Paimon opened her mouth when he arrived outside the gym. Why aren't you angry? She treated you unjustly and didn't apologize. Even at the end, she only corrected her mistakes. Was there a need to thank her? Neo stopped walking. He pondered over Paimon's words. People are flawed. Elizabeth was a tyrant who only knew how to give orders. She never took no for an answer. It's how she was raised and she lived. No one could change overnight. The change was a gradual progress. It needed constant effort. She didn't apologize. However, she took a step back and let me do what I wanted. It's an improvement. Neo continued. I can't say I understand emotions myself, but I do know that everyone is different. No one is perfect. Elizabeth, like everyone, has flaws. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Flaws are what make us unique. They are the stroke of colors on a finished painting. They defines us. Just like a stroke of color is to a painting, the flaws can add charm to a person or destroy them, Neo explained. You have quite a poetic way of talking, Paimon said. I'll think of it as a praise. Neo chuckled. He went to his dorm room. After putting the bag there, he was about to leave when Paimon spoke. Is it okay to leave the weapon like that? Yeah. The principal knew about the trident's existence. She would keep it under strict surveillance. How will you use the trident? Are you curious? Somewhat. Neo shook his head at her blatant lie. He explained nonetheless. I can't use the trident with my current strength, and its a mortal slayer trait makes it too dangerous to let others use it. I originally planned to destroy it. By the time Neo became strong enough to wield the trident, he would have better weapons than it. The risk of keeping the trident was greater than its benefits. Now, though, I think I'll try to devour it. Devour it? With your current mastery? Paimon looked at him with a surprised expression. You'll die. I know. That's why I am planning to suppress the trident's powers before I devour it bit by bit. There were a lot of preparations to be done. Neo had to prepare a chamber to seal the trident's presence while he devoured it. It would be dangerous if others sensed the trident and found it. Additionally, he would be burnt to crisp if he went near trident with his current strength. The bag is sealing the trident. I need to find a method so I can bear the trident's pressure, since I'd rather not be burnt to ashes while I absorb it. It sounds like a difficult task. It is, but the returns were worth it. Devouring the Poseidon's trident would give him a major boost. Anyway, I have other things to focus on for now. Neo took out his smartphone to check the schedule. The etiquette class is next, and spell casting theory class is after it. Neo did not plan to attend the etiquette class. It was low on his priority list. If I'm not wrong, nothing was taught in the first class of spell casting theory. I can skip it. Why are you skipping the classes? You told that professor you would attend them. Because I think I found a way to solve the third trial. He continued. It's a shot in the dark, but it's worth it. The only problem was time. He had to hurry. On his way, Neo made a group chat for teammates. You've created the group Umbra. Christian has been added. Leonora has been added. Mars has been added. Group chat. Christian, what is this? A group for our team? Me, yes. Mars, I was wondering when you will invite us all. Is it time for a mission? Christian, good afternoon, Mars. I didn't know you were the fourth teammate. Leonora has muted the group. Mars, nice to meet you too. Mars, I didn't know the other members were also OP guys like Neo. Mars, I'm looking forward to meeting you guys. Mars, carrot. Me, Hilda Cafe in 30 minutes. Me, we'll do a mission briefing. Mars, finally. Christian, isn't it too early? Christian, we haven't found a fifth teammate yet. Me, leave that to me. Christian, understood. I'll meet you at the venue. Mars, I'm on my way already. Me at Christian bring Leonora too. She has muted the group. I doubt she will read the messages either. Christian, I'll do my best. Group chat. Neo closed the app. He wondered who he should choose as the fifth member. Someone who was already strong? Someone who would become useful in the future? Someone who is hiding his strength and identity? Or should he pick a random student? I don't know if the other person will join my team. The easiest way to get the fifth member is to pick anyone at random who agrees to join. Neo sat on the bench inside the mission hall. The place was filled with hundreds of first-year students. Who should I choose? Neo noticed someone looking at F-rank missions. Only solo students chose F-D rank missions. The person had to be the same. Why isn't he in a team? No way. Did he not join Arthur's team due to the butterfly effect? Neo took out his phone to confirm it from Felix. He might have struck Diamond. Chat, Felix. Me, who are your teammates? Felix, why LOL. Felix, me, Arthur, Nathan, Clara, and Sean. Felix, you don't know Clara and Sean. I'll introduce them to you later. Felix, Nathan is the same who attacked us during the entrance ceremony. The one who used shadows. Me, yeah, I remember him. Felix, what about your team? Me, Christian, Leonora, and Mars. Felix, WDF. Felix, I know about Christian and Leonora. Felix, but how did you get Mars? Felix, he refused everyone. Felix, how did you do it? Felix, don't ignore me. Chat, Felix. Neo closed the chats with a chuckle. The notifications continued to arrive. He ignored them. I bet he's going to be livid when we meet next time. His actions confused Paimon. Is what you did really funny? Paimon questioned. It is. Sometimes you just want to mess with others. Neo returned the phone to his pocket and waited. Jack continued to stare at F-rank missions, unable to pick a choice. He looked around for help and happened to meet Neo's eyes. Jack looked in a different direction quickly. I just made eye contact with him. He won't get angry, right? The rumors of Neo being a crazy bastard were spread far and wide. Jack did not want to have any connection with Neo. Suddenly, Neo stood up. He approached Jack. Don't run away. Don't run away. He isn't coming to me. He will pass by me and go somewhere else. Jack repeated the words in his heart, only for Neo to stop before him. Can I help you? Jack questioned. Neo looked up at the F-rank mission list. He lowered his gaze and met Jack's eyes. I noticed you were looking at F-rank missions. Are you going solo? Yes. Jack scratched his cheek. My rank is quite low. Nobody wanted to team up with me. While he answered properly, he wished for Neo to leave as soon as possible. How about you join my team if you don't have anyone else? We still need the 5th member. Thank for the offer. I can't what? Jack paled as if he saw a ghost. Why you are asking me to join your team? Yes, but you are the ruler. I bet the rest of you teammates are top 100 too. That's true. I see I can't join a team like that. I'm too weak. Are you sure you want to refuse my offer? I can ask someone else if that is the case. I'm sure there are others who will join my team happily. Jack, about to refuse, closed his mouth with a snap. He looked around. Many students surrounded Neo and him. They heard them talk, and a few of them looked eager to join Neo's team. The team made by the ruler, where the rest of the members were top 100 students. It was bound to be successful. Why is he inviting me into his team? Does he have an ulterior motive? Jack couldn't make a choice. Was Neo asking him team just to fill the vacancy? Besides, what would he gain from someone like Jack? Calm down. I'm not forcing you to join my team. You can refuse. Neo stared at the students around them. He muttered to himself, guess I need to find someone else. His words struck Jack's ears like a thunderbolt. Wait. I'll join your team. No. Please let me join your team. The teammates were fixed until the next semester. They couldn't be changed. Besides, Jack would gain rewards and credits by joining the team, regardless of Neo's motives. It's a good choice. Neo smiled. His handsome features stunned Jack for a moment. I'll send you the team form. Let's exchange contacts. Why, yeah. After he filled the team form, he let out a sigh. Good work. Now let's go. I'll introduce you to the others. Jack nodded. They went around the campus and entered a cafe. Welcome. The host stammered when she noticed Neo's clothes. Ruler, the top-ranked student. Silence spread inside the cafe. The students stayed quiet. We have a reservation. I see. Please follow me. They entered the deeper area of the cafe. Jack couldn't help but cower at the attention he received by being at Neo's side. Is it always like this for him? The first rank was a respected position. Neo would receive recognition whenever he went, be it inside the academy or outside. Jack joined the team as such person. He was still having trouble believing the reality. The host took Neo to a private room. She opened the door. Your friends are inside. Neo entered the room with Jack. The room, fragrant, was small and cozy with a window towards a garden. Hey, you are finally here. Mars grinned. Good afternoon, Neo, Christian said. Leonora focused on her game and ignored him. Hi, he replied and pointed at Jack. He is our 5th team member. Hello, I'm Jack Hamma, 1721 TH rank. Jack's heart was beating loudly. His ears rang, and he was sweating badly. Neo, while first rank and stone-faced, was amicable. But the 3 people in front of him had an unapproachable air. Jack knew about them. They were existences he could never dream to meet in his life. They didn't respond to Jack's greeting and stared at him instead. T thinking again, I shouldn't be in this team. Don't worry. They aren't angry, just wary of your aura. Neo placed a hand on Jack's shoulder. There is no need to be nervous. Take deep breaths. Jack never realized he was releasing his aura. He followed Neo's advice. The aura spreading out from him disappeared. That aura, it was Death Element. Christian asked, "Why, yeah, I'm sorry. My mastery is low, and I can't control the aura. I swear I wasn't trying to threaten you." Low mastery? Christian frowned. Jack's aura wasn't weak. It was scary. No, not just scary. It was almost as frightening as Neo's aura. Had he been a second late to retract his aura, Leonora's spirit, Ruby, would have attacked him. "Do you really rank in 1700s? Christian spoke. Jack nodded. "Weird." Christian turned to Mars. It was rare to see Mars not smiling. "What do you think?" "I don't know. He feels weak, but something is weird. It's like his strength doesn't have a fixed shape." "Okay, that's it. You guys are being rude to Jack." Neo clapped. "Jack, they are Leonora, Christian, and Mars in order. He is Jack. We can ask him about his specialties later. Welcome him at least." Mars and Christian nodded. "I apologize if my words were rude. Sorry. We didn't mean to scare you. We were just startled because of your aura." It's fine." Jack realized they were not as scary as he thought. It was his fault to begin with. He was about to sit next to Leonora when she looked at him and clicked her tongue. Jack, being wise, chose to sit beside Christian and Mars. She frowned again when Neo sat by her side, but Neo ignored her. "I'll explain the mission now. Before that, there is something we must discuss," Christian said. "That is, who will be the team leader?" His words made Neo smile. "Why are you asking me about this? The answer should be obvious." "That." Christian pursed his lips. "I hope you can let Miss be the team leader." Leonora raised her head from the screen with a snap and stared at Christian. "I don't. It's not about your preferences, Miss. You are the leader of Poseidon Clan's faction. It should be clear you can't work under someone else. The family elders are livid because you chose someone outside of our clan to team up with. If you let him be the team leader on top of that, you will be smearing mud on our clan's name. The elders won't let go of his matter." Christian's words made Leonora sulk. She didn't want to take the burdensome position of team leader. "Neo, I hope you'll understand our position. Giving up the status of team leader is not an option for Miss. Of course, we will compensate you with the credits you would have earned had you became the team leader," Christian said. It was a reasonable request. Christian's down-to-earth approach made it difficult to refuse him. "But I can't give up the team leader position." Neo shook his head. "If this was how it was going to be, you should have said it when I invited you to the team." "That." Christian had no reply. Leonora looked at Neo with twinkling eyes. She couldn't be more happy. "Besides, what's the problem with being under me? So you might not know this. The God clans look down on those from outside. It would have been fine if you were from a great God clan. Even a high God clan would have worked. But you aren't from either." Christian wasn't looking down on Neo's origin. He was revealing the harsh reality. "There is no need to worry if that's true. I might not be from a God clan. However, I have the bloodline of Hades." "Bloodline of Hades? I guess that works." Christian stopped speaking. He looked at Neo with a confused expression. "Come again." "I have the bloodline of great god of death." "Seriously?" "Yeah." Christian took a deep breath. "What?" he shouted. Mars and Jack's reaction was no different. Even Leonora was looking at Neo with a stunned face. "There has never been a demigod with Hades' bloodline. How do you have it?" Christian grabbed Neo's shoulder. "Ow! Calm down. It's not that big of news." "How is it not big news? You are the only person with the god of death's bloodline. Do you realize you're the current clan leader of the third great god clan?" "Oh." Neo hadn't thought about it. Still, what use was the clan when he was the only member? No, this has to be a joke. Are you trying to prank us?" "Why would I joke about my bloodline? If my teammates misunderstand my abilities, it would endanger us on the missions." Christian grabbed his head. He needed time to digest the information. "Damn, that's sick. That's why your auras were so powerful." Mars was quick to return to his usual mood. "My heart didn't lie. I chose the perfect rival." Neo really wanted to know why and how he became Mars' rival, but he had an important task at hand. "I guess that solves the problem of team leader. Next, I'll explain about the mission." Neo continued. "Tomorrow, an S-rank mission will be posted. It has 3 slots. That means 3 teams can choose it. I want our team to get one of the slots." That mission was the only way Neo came up with. It could help him clear the third trial. Is the source of your information credible? Mars asked in place of Christian, who was still in denial. It is. Why do you want that mission? There are other S-rank missions too. You'll know it tomorrow. After talking a bit, the group disbanded. They agreed to meet in the mission hall tomorrow. Neo was on this way to Seraphim Hall when he received a message from Arthur. Why he is asking to meet at that place? The location was outside Teacher's dorm. Teacher's dorm lied between the buildings where their classes took place and the Seraphim Hall. It was not weird to meet up there on the way to the dorm. Neo was just sensitive after he was fucked over by Elizabeth once. I guess I'll go. He met Arthur on the bench under the tree's shade. What's up? Nothing. Felix said he had important news and wanted to meet us as quickly as possible. But I don't understand why he called us here. Arthur scratched his cheek. Neo sat beside him. The two waited for 15 minutes until Felix came out of the teacher's dorm. He fixed his clothes and waved at a female teacher who was looking down from her window. Arthur froze. Neo, please tell me I'm overthinking it, but does it look like Felix? Felix arrived next to them before Neo could answer. You change your gender? Neo asked. Not changed. I can't control my unique skill. You don't know it since you were from outside of God clans. It's because I can't control my skill that I'm called the weakest demigod of the history. His monotonous words made it look like he didn't care about the rumors, though Neo knew the truth was otherwise. Anyway, I was lucky to change to this body a few hours ago, and I got my hands on a nice piece of news thanks to that. Wait, did you just add SSC? Do that with the professor for the news. Arthur's bright red ears brought a wide smile to Felix's face. He put his arm around Arthur's shoulder and whispered, Yes, we had sex. Arthur let out a shrill scream like a girl and moved away from Felix. Seeing him, Felix laughed. He laughed hard. Gosh, you actually believe that. I'm lying, of course. Why would I fix my clothes outside and not in the room? Felix looked at Neo. Well, I guess Neo wasn't fooled. Then, why did you meet that professor? Arthur asked. I exchanged credits with her to buy information. Why did the professor look so happy if all you did was buy information? Felix smiled without saying anything. Felix smiled silently. It made Arthur's imagination run wild. Why wouldn't she be happy? She earned credits without lifting a finger, Neo thought. He chastised Arthur for overreacting, as if he wasn't the one whose brain stopped braining when he was with Elizabeth inside the water cave. Felix didn't say it, but Neo knew he must have borrowed credits from other students to pay the professor. He went ahead and did it even after I told him to not borrow credits from others, or he won't be able to take on SS rank missions. Well, whatever. It's his choice. Arthur's flushed face wasn't coming down. Neo decided to change the topic. What's the news you wanted to tell us? Are you curious about it? Felix grabbed Neo's shoulder and gave him an unamused stare. First, tell me, how did you get Mars in your team? He came to me himself. Himself? Yeah. Felix scoffed. I don't believe it. Mars might be ranked only 100th, but he is on par with Morgan. Everyone knows Mars only acknowledges those who are stronger than him. Why would he approach you first? I don't know about it myself. If you don't believe me, ask anyone who saw Mars when he met me in the mission hall. Felix pursed his lips. He had question around. The information he got roughly matched Neo's answer. Felix thought Neo might have moved behind the scene, but talking to him now made Felix realize that was not the case. So I get it. Also, sorry about calling you weak. Don't worry about it. I don't care about the opinions of a guy who sells his body for benefits. Neo smirked. Hey, I told you we did nothing. Felix also laughed. Looking at the two, Arthur wondered if he was the one had outdated beliefs. The three chatted and entered the cafeteria. They joined the line. I want to tell you too about an S-rank mission that would be posted tomorrow. Felix lowered his voice. Sphinx is the one who assigned the mission. Arthur's eyes shot wide open. It took him a second to realize they were in a cafeteria. He coughed and looked around to see if someone was looking at them. The Sphinx, Arthur whispered. Yeah, that one. Sphinx was one of the 4 guardians of the Academy and an administrator of Akashic Record. Missions provided by Sphinx were rare. Completing gave them an answer as a reward. The Sphinx's knowledge was vast. It was almost omniscient. There was nothing it couldn't answer. If there was someone who could tell Neo what emotions were, it would be the Sphinx. Neo, why aren't you shocked? You knew about the mission beforehand, didn't you? I didn't. Felix's brows creased. He stared at Neo's face as if he was searching for something. Did our homeroom teacher tell you about the mission? Suddenly bringing Elizabeth's name into the conversation made Neo react. He quickly returned to his expressionless face. However, it was useless. Why did she tell you about the mission? Neo pursed his lips. It was clear Felix wouldn't let go of the matter until he got a proper answer. I brought the information from her with credits. Neo gave the first excuse that came to his mind. Yeah? Where did you get the credits from? From friends. Friends? Yeah. The person who eats in cafeteria only because we drag him out of his room, and the one who pissed off half of the students with his speech has friends? Don't lie. Say it. Why did the professor reveal such sensitive information to you? Neo was exasperated at the blatant insult. He wasn't a loner. He wasn't, right? If you're calling me that, then how did you borrow credits from others? I doubt you have more friends than me. Arthur nodded from the side. All three of them were equally hated by the students. Or so he thought. Hey, that's insulting. I might be infamous in the God clans, but I'm pretty well received by the students from outside of God clans. You two are the only ones who don't have friends. Arthur, on the side, didn't say the words he was about to say. The stray shots from the conversation between Felix and Neo hit him hard. That's impossible, Neo retorted. It's not. Unlike you two, I have social skills. Besides, I'm handsome. Everyone from Aphrodite clan was handsome. Felix's appearance was cut above the rest even there. Neo wasn't jealous. He was handsome himself. He definitely didn't plan to devour some monsters to see if he could absorb secondary stats related to appearances. The three ate lunch and returned to the dorm. In the end, Neo never gave a reason as to how he found the information. It made Felix's imagination go above and beyond. The next day, Neo arrived at the mission hall. He met up with his teammates. The team registration is done. Our team is now officially formed, Neo said. Mars, Christian, and Jack nodded. As for Leonora, she was nowhere to be seen. While they were waiting for the S-rank mission to be put up, Arthur and Felix arrived with their team. Guys, how is everyone doing? Felix asked. They greeted each other. Felix introduced the twins, Clara and Sean, to Neo and his teammates. Neo did the same for his team. Well, what's the name of your team? Felix asked. Umbra. Oh. Felix turned to Arthur. It's quite a coincidence, right? Yeah, Arthur nodded. He told Neo, our team is called Lumen. It means light and yours. Umbra. It's another word for shadow. I thought you would choose a name related to your death element. Neo shrugged. He liked the name because it was antithesis of Arthur's team name. The S-rank mission was put up while the group chatted. There were a lot of teams ready to take the S-rank mission. Felix wasn't the only one who brought the information. Neo and Arthur were ready to take the mission when. What's that? S-rank mission. Details. Redacted. Rewards. Redacted. Slots 3. Assigner. Sphinx. Participation requirements. Only teams who have cleared 3 C-rank missions, 2 B-rank missions, and 1 A-rank mission can accept this mission. The mission will be given on first-come, first-served basis. Mission details and rewards will be revealed only to teams who have met participation requirements. S-rank mission. The participation requirements were not supposed to exist. Neo was caught unprepared by the unexpected situation. Another butterfly effect. But how? He thought hard and realized the reason for the change. So that's how it is. Originally, Arthur was never seen as a threat by the God clans. While strong, he did not have a background to support him. It was why Felix could pull the rug under everyone and manage to take one of the mission slots. However, the present changed when Neo appeared. He was the little brother of Henry Hargraves. The Hargraves Corporation was a contender for the top position in the weaponry market. They were rich and influential. Still, they were not a match for the God clans until Neo became the ruler. If Hargraves played their cards right, they could stand on par God clans. Neo was a threat. He couldn't be allowed to sort any more than he did already. There are many professors and staff members from God clans. They can't openly refuse to give you the S-rank mission due to the principal, so they used a roundabout method, Christian said. He was also shocked. His clanmates never told him about anything. They are isolating me because I joined Neo's team. Christian realized and let out a bitter smile. This is bad. Arthur spoke. He looked at the seed, a rank mission list. The missions were being rapidly taken by other teams. They are working together to make sure we can't complete the mission requirements. Not just the teams made by top 100 students. The other teams were also recruited by the God clans to impede Neo and Arthur's team. We might need to give up, Felix bit his lips. He suddenly looked at Christian with hopeful gaze. Can we get Poseidon clan's help? He stopped speaking when Christian shook his head. I didn't even know the teams were working together. The clan elders have probably forbid anyone to assist us. We are on our own. There were 20 S-rank teams with at least 3 top 100 students, fighting for the 3 slots. That alone would have been an uphill battle. The 18 teams could hoard missions to make sure the last 2 teams of Neo and Arthur didn't get anything. But against nearly 300 teams, there was no hope for Neo and Arthur. Neo walked up to the C-rank mission list. What are you doing? Felix questioned. Choosing a mission. Even if everyone works together, which I doubt is possible, they still can't hoard every mission. There was a limit to the number of missions a team could accept at once. The God clans probably planned to take everything except the most difficult missions. With a first-come, first-served basis, they only had a stall time and get the slots before Neo and Arthur. We were trying to get the S-rank mission because it has the best rewards. Isn't it a given we need to work hard for something like that? Neo spoke. Neo wanted to be the best there was. He long accepted he would have to outperform everyone to reach his goal. It excited him. The feeling of leaving others in dust, even though they work hard, thrilled Neo. I guess Grandpa was right. Only insane people can succeed in today's world. Arthur stood next to Neo. He picked out a few missions. Neo spoke when he was done. See you later. Hope you guys get a slot. Same to you. He went to the desk attendant and got approval for the 3 C-rank missions he found. When Neo returned, he saw his teammates looking at him in awe and admiration. What? He asked. Nothing. All I want to say is as expected of my rival. Neo turned to Christian. You really deserve that rank. Jack was looking at Neo with a similar respectful gaze. What the fuck? Why are they acting like this? All he did was do what he planned to do originally. The additional mission requirements messed up their plan. Still, Neo didn't do anything special by deciding to continue moving forward. What he didn't realize was his simple choice was something only he could have done. If Neo was not there, they would have decided to back down. Neo ignored their reactions. After leaving the mission hall, he revealed the missions to them. C-rank mission. Detail: extract 5 bottles of honey from beehives of salamander bees. Assigner: firefly apiary. Reward: 4 credits, 3 500 milliliters bottles of energy replenishment, fire-flavored. C-rank mission. Detail: subdue the wailing ghost that appears in the female bathrooms of first-year buildings. Assigner: janitor of Aurelia Block. Reward: 4 credits, wind elemental vision glasses. C-rank mission. Detail: destroy the rolling boulder monster on the path between Veritas Block of First Years and Uja Farms. Assigner: ranch owner of the 12th plantation. Reward: 4 credits, 70% discount of all farm vegetables and fruits brought from Uja Farm, 12th plantation, for a year. Despite the distinct names of the places, all of them were located inside the Demigod Academy. The academy was fully self-sufficient, from food to clothes to factories. Everything was present on the campus. We need to complete the missions as soon as possible. We'll split up. For these missions, we'll do me and Jack, and Christian and Mars. As for the last C-rank mission, we'll do it together. Now choose the mission you will complete, Neo said. I wanted to be in your team, Mars complained. I joined the team to compete with you. That's why I put you with Christian. Let's see who will complete their mission first. Oh, that's a good idea. It was easy to handle Mars. They held a short discussion and picked their choices.